As of January 1st, 2025, the state of New Hampshire officially eliminated its interest and dividends tax entirely. This repeal joins the state's existing 0% sales tax and 0% individual wage tax, making it one of the most streamlined personal tax landscapes in the country. However, capturing these individual tax benefits as a business owner requires you to form a legal entity, an action that places your venture under the direct oversight of the Secretary of State. While your individual tax rates remain low, forming a company moves you into a different category of state-monitored rules, filings, and unique business-level taxes. Registering your business means formally establishing an LLC, an S-Corp, or a C-Corp with the New Hampshire Department of State. This process creates a legal barrier between your company and yourself, ensuring personal assets like your home are protected from lawsuits. But establishing this barrier triggers two new obligations: a mandatory annual reporting cycle and exposure to New Hampshire's specific state-level business taxes. In New Hampshire, selecting an entity type is a fiscal decision as much as a liability choice, as different structures trigger different levels of state tax liability.
Before we dive into the exact state steps and paperwork, let's talk about your foundation. You absolutely cannot build a successful brand or protect your assets without a properly structured legal entity. Most people try to launch as a sole proprietor or cut corners on their initial state filings, and that is exactly why they face massive personal liabilities or get their applications rejected by the state. Your business must be a separate legal entity. That's where Northwest Registered Agent comes in. Northwest is the absolute best formation service out there. They handle your entire LLC or corporation setup for just $39 plus state fees, which includes a full year of their premium registered agent service. What makes them elite is their privacy by default policy. They use their own business address on all your state filings to keep your home address off public records, and they never sell your data. This legal and privacy shield is non-negotiable if you want to protect your wealth. I've linked my full Northwest review in the description. Use my link down below to register your business today and unlock exclusive discounts. Get your protection handled first, and then let's get into the step-by-step guide for your state.
The first step for any entity is appointing a registered agent to handle your legal notices and government correspondence. New Hampshire has strict requirements here. Your agent must have a physical street address in the state, no P.O. boxes, and they must be available at that location during all standard 9 to 5 business hours. Step 2 is your core filing. You'll submit Form LLC 1 for an LLC or Form 11 for a corporation, along with a $102 online filing fee. The state will reject your application if you use a generic purpose clause like any lawful business. You are required to state a specific primary nature of business, such as real estate management or software development. Finally, you'll need a free EIN from the IRS and your internal governing documents, either an operating agreement for an LLC or corporate bylaws for a corporation. You must complete these administrative steps before you can legally begin operations or even open a business bank account in the state. Beyond the standard filings, New Hampshire requires a unique document called Form SRA. This is a securities law compliance addendum. You use it to formally state that your business ownership interests are either registered or, more commonly, exempt from state securities registration. While the form is brief, the compliance rules are absolute. It must be signed by all incorporators for a new corporation or an authorized member for an LLC. New Hampshire strictly forbids photocopied signatures on this form. If the signatures aren't original, ink on paper, the state will reject your entire business application. This highlights the state's priority. They value precise regulatory compliance over filing speed. When choosing a structure, the limited liability company is the most frequent choice. It provides pass-through taxation, where profits flow directly to owners, and requires very little statutory formality. The primary drawback is that LLC owners generally pay federal self-employment tax on all net earnings from the business. An S-Corp can mitigate this, but it has rigid rules: a 100 shareholder limit, a single class of stock, and a 75-day deadline to file IRS Form 2553. The federal benefit is significant for owners earning over $75,000. By paying yourself a reasonable salary and taking the rest as a distribution, you only pay self-employment tax on the salary portion. This chart shows how the 2025 tax shift changes the S-Corp's viability. Previously, New Hampshire taxed those distributions through the IND tax. Now that the tax is repealed, 100% of that distribution flows directly to the owner, making it a much more efficient tax vehicle. Then there is the C-Corp. This is the default structure for companies that need to issue multiple share classes to attract outside investors or venture capital. The downside here is double taxation. The business pays taxes on profits, and shareholders pay again on any dividends they receive. For high-earning professionals in New Hampshire, the S-Corp now typically offers the best balance of federal savings and state-level compliance. New Hampshire offers a few unique benefits, such as initial ownership privacy. Corporations are not required to list their shareholders in the Articles of Incorporation. Additionally, the state does not require a general, statewide business license for most industries. The primary challenge is the state's business tax structure, which applies even without a personal income tax. First is the business profits tax, which applies a flat rate to businesses with gross income exceeding $50,000. This chart explains the second layer, the business enterprise tax. Unique to New Hampshire, this tax is levied on the total compensation, interest, and dividends a business pays out, rather than just its profits. Maintaining good standing also requires an annual report, due every April 1st with a $102 fee. You must provide updated information every year. If you submit a report that simply says no change, the Secretary of State will reject it, and your entity could face dissolution. New Hampshire's personal tax environment is highly efficient, but the state funds itself through these corporate compliance fees and specific business taxes. This decision tree matches goals to the right entity structure. For low maintenance, the LLC provides liability protection with minimal administration. If earning over $75,000, the S-Corp maximizes the tax repeal and reduces self-employment tax. The C-Corp is strictly for scaling enterprises issuing share classes. To stay compliant in New Hampshire, remember these 3 rules. Maintain a local registered agent, sign Form SRA in original ink, and file your April 1st report. By utilizing the 2025 tax changes and following the state's specific filing requirements, you can keep more of your earnings and safely build long-term capital in a 0% personal tax environment.